I think is an accident waiting to happen, and I think Mark Gold was exactly right. There's probably going to be two tiers. You got a premium corn, you got another corn, and that poor corn we got is going to have to compete with feed wheat. The only way you do it is you get the basis to fall apart, and then we say, all right, I'll burn this corn or I'll feed it at a real discount, but I don't even know if you want to feed it. And so what we'll end up doing is paying the elevators to store it so they can blend it. And if you got that stuff, you might as well store it. You can look at the carryout into September, blend it into the stuff out of the field. They'll never ask about it then. It'll be fine. We'll have enough good corn, hopefully. And but at any rate, we were being 100% sold for next year's beans and last year's beans for quite a while now. Looks pretty precarious. All right, soybean meal, another benefit. You try to get information and about meal and about maybe the DDT effect. We're very close, and you get below that level, and probably you're at 237. Again, we go back to what was it worth prior to the bubble and prior to the Brazilian thing, which has all gone away. What is the real economic value that you can afford to feed it to your hogs and chickens and dairy, and now start to make money again, and it's not $400 a ton down in here somewhere. So if beans go down, this will go down. The interesting point here is that the monthly chart turned short on meal. That's not a good sign, kind of like the stock market. Same way in the soybean oil, they were long. Let me see if I got oil. Soybean oil, we rallied back up to the June highs and couldn't get there. If there's a story, it might be in oil because we cook with it, we eat with it, Asia uses it. If China slows their economy down, I don't know if they're that good at governing their economy, but we'll see. I have doubts. And again, you're right back. Testing work, economic value was before, and you're down there. This is pretty cheap. So is this now cheap enough in soybean oil? And maybe oil goes up because the meal falls apart. Meal is usually 60% of the crush. So if you crush a lot of, if you have too much, you stop crushing beans because you can't afford it because meal isn't worth it, and you keep beans too high, and that's a shortage of oil, which may have a demand, and you'll see that relationship. But most people will trade the meal oil spread. They won't go long or short meal or oil outright. Here's another one of triangles in wheat. And we rallied up, and now we're broken to the downside of that triangle. Watch wheat, what happens technically. It was down to 440 a while back. We wrote an article in Top Producer said that we want to buy all our wheat back at 440 or at 505, whichever happened first. It went to 439, and that one we did buy, and we wrote it back up. But now we did, and I could never believe it. We were watched with wheat, wheat went higher. But I asked the question, I said, soft red wheat may become more of an investment tool for New York paper pushers than a commodity that reacts to fundamentals. A lot of stuff has been written. Do fundamentals really matter? And ultimately, I think they do. When the speculator or the money guy doesn't see a story any longer, and just remember, markets can go down for the lack of buying. The bull market, you got to buy every day. It's got to eat every day. Bear only needs to eat once a year. So you absence of buying, whether it's stocks or gold or anything, naturally gravity does the trick for you. So, and if everything is true like all the rest, you come back in here and you say, what's the real intrinsic value of wheat? It wasn't $25 a bushel. It's probably more like something around $4 a bushel. We won't plant any in North Dakota. We got less wheat here, and still we got 500 million bushels or 900 million bushels left over, and we'll have that much next year. Half a crop is already in the bin. With this storage scheme, they'll keep rolling that stuff until we find somebody has a bad crop. It went along on a monthly basis. What it kind of tells me maybe is that we're going to suck the wheat out of the world acres. If not now, next fall we'll get less wheat acres. And eventually you could turn this wheat and go down here and then go along and turn and never get short on a monthly basis, but certainly go down. So this just gives me pause that says that probably value down here. But not at $5.40. Wheat's got the carryover. You'll see that. You'll see some wheat are done. 960 this year, 906 next year. We need to kill some wheat with frost. And the large spec was short wheat going into that report. It's actually negative wheat. So he sees that. Now he's smart in the wheat. He's smart somewhat in the beans. Did he get snookered in the corn? Or does he know something we don't? And I think he got snookered. We'll see what happens then. So what I want to do, in the morning comments that I write for clients like